political commentary. Now here's your host of Fighting Back, Ron Ludders.
Oh, I love it. Boy, that applause ended quickly, didn't it?
Small audience.
At any rate, welcome to Fighting Back. Here we are, and it's a beautiful Wednesday, the last day of the first half of the year.
That's right.
My gosh, it has gone fast, and I'm going to talk about a few things before, but I want to introduce everybody at this table. We have this lovely and talented young lady over here. I better talk in the microphone. That's Doris Paxton of the Paxton Trio.
Yay for me.
right.
Thank
And
you.
she is a singer. Is that how you pronounce it? Singer?
Yes, I like something
Okay.
like that, yes.
Okay, and she's a singer. And, of course, then we have, everybody knows our bald-headed badass, and that is, that is Mr. Bernstein.
Josh Bernstein, uncensored.com.
He is. And then, of course, our regular on this show, and that is Ray Michaels.
Hello, everyone.
The best Hawaiian shirts, by the way.
Aloha.
I know. He prints those up on the
Yeah,
way here. He just
I think
runs.
so.
He's got a white shirt and he
I
runs.
like 'em.
He's got a white shirt and he runs the car over them.
Yeah,
and then
there you
he
go.
come out looking Hawaiian. So, at any rate, thank you for being here. The 4th of July is coming up, and it's one of my favorite holidays.
It is
Ray.
my favorite holiday. It should
And
be a
it-
week-long
Oh,
celebration.
it is just phenomenal. Just the thought that this great country and all the things this country has been through to get to this point where we're at, and we're still going through birthing pains, but with birthing people. Isn't that another new term? Birthing.
Could be.
Well, you know,
birthing
it's
person?
affectionately
Birthing
called
person.
here in the Southwest Cuatro de Julio.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
I like that one.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
sounds good.
My sister has a joke. She says, "What is the most dishonest month of the year?" July.
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 That's a good one.
So anyway, we're really excited, and that's Sunday, and I guess we're going to have a Monday holiday here because of that. And a lot of things have been going on, but one of the things that I really want to talk about, we've got a new sponsor, and I want you guys to help with the sponsors that we have here. They bring this show. They make this possible. This place is not cheap to maintain, okay? Most of us work for nothing.
We all work for nothing. What do you mean most
we
of
just
us?
we just work to be popular because everybody knows who we are. It's those guys on Wednesday night on Hub.
It's the Wednesday guys.
It's the Wub guys. Anyway, so we just love that. So, but you know, we do have costs here. And Ray, we got a new sponsor right down the plaza here.
That's what I heard. Right here on
And it's-
32nd Street and Bell in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona.
and it's Pack Mail. Now, Pack Mail is kind of like, some of you may know, there's the FedEx stores, and then there's the what's the other big carrier?
It doesn't matter, does
Yeah,
it?
it doesn't matter because, anyway, and one of our hostesses of this show at one time worked over there, and I think she may even get a job here at Pack Mail.
You know, I love their slogan. If you can imagine it, we can ship it.
Ooh,
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I look at their truck every day. Every time I come
you
in
just
down
made
here.
that up.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, that's.
Their truck said that?
I'm pretty sure it does.
I didn't know trucks could talk. But anyway, we're happy to hear that that's what their truck says. My truck says honk, honk, and, you know. At any rate, but please help, especially, you know, like a janitorial service. A lot of you will not use the janitorial service because you don't have a business.
But they
that
do
you-
house cleaning.
They do house
They
cleaning,
come in, they
and then
clean
of
up.
course the security people.
Yes.
and they're really good, and of course we have some prior sponsors that are having a little tough time right now, but one of our big,
Yeah,
our
the restaurants,
favorite,
yeah.
El Capos, and they're just phenomenal, and don't stop going there just because. As soon as they pick up a little bit, they're going to be back here sponsoring the show. But, you know, everybody has a package to mail out. And I know sometimes I think I'm ordering something and I get the wrong product. I look in the catalog and say, oh, that's my number, and they send it to me, and it doesn't fit.
You realize that you can't fit into a size 6 dress?
Well, not me. only on Fridays.
Only on Fridays with some smelling salts.
So, at any rate, please, this is one of our great sponsors. And any of you out there that want to sponsor a show, we have some really new things coming up, and especially you people that are firearms dealers. There's a lot of things going on that you need to be aware of, and we're going to bring some of these things to you. And we're looking for you guys. You're all over the place because Arizona is a really Second
An
Amendment.
armed society is a polite society.
It is,
right.
and and we are for sure a Second Amendment society. No question
Absolutely.
about that. So, Josh,
Yes.
it happened again yesterday.
Oops, I did it again.
Not you. New York City had an election
Ah.
yesterday, and
If you
of
could
course,
call it that.
of course, we already know that New York is full of big D's, and it doesn't stand for Dallas.
That's for sure.
It's Democrats, and they had an election yesterday for mayor. I'm not sure at this point that they still know who won because they had like 137,000 more people that voted than voted.
But you know what was nice is that they apologized. They said, "You know what?
Yeah.
This isn't fraud.
No,
This is
of
not,
course not.
an anomaly. This is not a discrepancy. This was a mistake."
It's a little blip.
You know, I have a feeling that people are now kind of getting in that line to say, "Hey, wait a second. If they said this was a mistake, maybe we made a mistake and nobody is accountable."
Six
Exactly.
mistakes in all the swing states?
Wow, that's pretty.
And and one of the
interesting.
things here, I couldn't believe they had these test votes, 135,000 test votes,
That's it.
and and they were to
Just
put them.
135,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all they're off was about 135,000 votes.
And by the way, wasn't it EAS that found this little blip here and apologized extensively? You know, the ones that were certified to do audits? Yes, those.
So at any
characters.
rate, I mean, you would have thought, wouldn't you, that after all of the controversy of the 2020 election and all of the states that are still contentious over this election, and there can be no question that there were some irregularities, we'll call them, because
Yeah,
we don't want to
we'll-
be taken
we'll
off
use
the
that
air
word.
for using the F word, and I don't mean the F word.
Yes, I shouldn't
The
have said
four-letter-
that.
the-
I shouldn't have said that.
You
right?
did say that.
I
one,
did say
you
it.
know,
Yes,
and-
but can we bleep that out?
But we're going to take you off the air next week.
F stand for forgiven. We're not.
Yes,
No,
forgiven.
no.
We're never gonna
So
use
at
that
any rate,
word.
this is happening again, ladies and gentlemen, and right in New York City. You know, I encourage you all to study this. You cannot trust the people that are in charge. You know, there used to be this saying, "Don't trust authority. Don't believe authority."
Question authority. Yeah.
Question authority.
And then they
if
used to
New
say
York
question
actually
authority.
had a legitimate election pretty much, I don't know, ever, then we wouldn't have had AOC, or as I like to call her, Dumbelina, because she probably wouldn't be where she's at. And the other gentleman that was the fourth ranking member of the House, who was in that seat, I don't know, since the Carter administration, would probably still be there. But when you only have, 6, 7, 8% of the population going out to vote, and then the entire thing being completely the F word, you're not going to get what you need to get, and you're not going to get real candidates, which is exactly what AOC is. Basically a bartender and someone that just recently discovered a garbage disposal. Which
Well,
I thought was shocking.
Josh from Josh Bernstein Uncensored, and we thank you for being here every single week here on Wednesdays. You know, it depends on who you ask, because some people got exactly what they wanted.
That is true. That is part of it. I mean, but the machine, the Democrat-controlled machines in the inner cities has permeated all of the big cities, from New York to Chicago to Los Angeles to Houston to now even former red states, you know, Colorado, Denver, of course. And many of these cities, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, of course, Pittsburgh, Wayne County. Isn't it interesting that all of the ones that are run by Democrats have the most amount of, quote, irregularities? Isn't it interesting? Well,
Yes.
I think we now know what happened. You basically had two things happen. Number one, you had the adjudication process, which was programmed into the machines to be at a fault rate high enough to where they would kick them out. Perfectly pristine ballots were kicked out, and they were hand counted by Democrat Party operatives. That's number one. Number two, you had USB drives. Those are what happened with the quote-unquote late-night drops at 3 a.m. in Wayne County in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night while we all slept. And all of a sudden 140,000 votes show up in Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin. Yes, those were done by USB drives that were put in the machine. They tabulated the ballot images, and the next thing you know, whoosh, they pulled those USB drives out, and guess what? They're all
Nobody was
missing.
any the wiser.
Where are they? Where are
So,
they?
Doris, and thank you for being here as well. You are such a superstar. Look at those stars on you.
Thanks.
You know, we've talked on this show many, many times with Josh, and everybody kept saying the machines are not hooked up to the internet. Look, they're not plugged in to the internet.
Neither is my phone, by the way.
Yeah, but then we find out that they were on Wi-Fi. They had Wi-Fi capabilities. And now, Josh, go into a little bit more detail about these USB drives. Are they going to find that when they actually forensically audit the information within the computers?
Yeah, I mean, the forensic audit that has been done with the kinematic forensic technology of Jovan Pulitzer and others is so good that you could go to court and a defense attorney could say, well, that's not true, that vote didn't happen. And then the audit team would be able to say, well, actually, yes, it did happen. And Judge, why don't we go on a field trip? Where are we going? Well, we're going to go to where the ballots are stored. And by the way, when we get there, it'll be in bag number 7 of 700, and it'll be vote tally number 32. And before they could even look and find it in there, it's already there, and there's another image of it, and you don't even have to leave the office or the area that in which you're counting the votes. That is how good the technology is on the audit, and that's coming from Jovan Pulitzer.
Let's explain something. I think most everybody in our audience knows by now a little bit about this because Arizona has been doing America's audit.
That's correct.
But what you do, you have a paper ballot, and these paper ballots, they're actually not read. They go into a machine, and the machine takes a photograph of the front and the back of that ballot. It's already marked, but
right? Digital image.
It's the digital image that counts the dots or whatever lines, and so here in Arizona, and by the way, we have people here tonight in the audience that have been down there. Thank you for going down there, and spending a lot of their summer months, or the better time of the year. They were actually in the spring down there, trying to do these counts by hand of the ballots. Now that's only one half of the process. The other one is yet to come. And by the way, today is the last day for
Correct.
the Coliseum, but it is not the last day of the audit. So if you're listening and reading mainstream media, the Times, the New York Times, and the Washington newspapers, no. It's not over. They're going to tell you it's all over and it's all a big scam. Don't believe it.
Well,
it is not.
President Fan from the Senate here in Arizona, she said, I don't know who said this. Yes, this is now, we've completed reading the physical ballots.
Correct.
But now is when the audit can
The
actually
electronics.
start. Because to audit something, you need to have a start and an end, and you compare
Right.
the two. So if you just count the ballots, okay, we counted the ballots. Here's how many ballots we have. Here's how many votes we have. But what was actually tabulated? It wasn't
Right.
It wasn't the
Exactly.
paper ballots.
And I think, and again, I don't know this 100%, but from what I'm hearing, they're saying that there's 2.1 million ballots, right? 2.1
In Maricopa
million.
County.
Right. They're saying that they're going to be lucky to get 1.9 million of the ballots.
Paper.
Which, correct, meaning what? I mean,
200,
many of them
200,000
are missing. Exactly. And so we'll see what happens. But, the strategy of the left is very simple. Run out the clock. That's their whole entire strategy. They know that they don't have the power to stop the audits. And if these other states decide to do audits, again, they can't stop them. They have the plenary power in the Constitution as state legislatures to get these audits done. That's why I keep pressing. And that's why I'm hoping that states like Pennsylvania and Georgia and others are not going to wait until the Arizona audit results come out. Because again, running out the clock is the left's strategy. That and, of course, frivolous lawsuits to slow down the process like they did with our good buddy Garland Favorito, who, again, won for the 5th time in court and is now going to be able to get towards and closer to.
And by the way, you saw him
audit.
right here on Hub
And he
Radio.
was right here. And I talked to him directly after that decision and put out a video on joshbernsteinuncensored.com on that. But the reality is the left immediately started to say that, well, it's over, the judge threw it all out, it's not going to happen. No, he tossed out a couple of areas, but the most important part, which was the forensic audit itself, was allowed to continue. They gave the opposing side 30 days to appeal the decision and to go back in court. So Georgia right now is sitting, I guess you could say, waiting. They're in a holding pattern. Now, Brandon Beach and some of the other folks in Georgia, if they were intelligent right now, they would join into the lawsuit with Garland. And the reason they would do a voter GA and join into that lawsuit is because now all of a sudden it's not just an individual or an individual group as in voter GA. It is now what? It is now the Georgia Assembly along with the voter GA. So it would be much harder to have that lawsuit dismissed.
Now, Josh, I want to just say something here. I don't want anybody to be confused. Garland Favorito is our
Great guy.
but there
Great
is
patriot.
another Garland around, and this guy's not a good guy. He's the Attorney General of the United States, and he is suing the state of Georgia because he thinks that they're causing all types of unnecessary voter infractions and limitations and so forth, which is not true.
No, and he's going to lose.
And that would be Merrick Garland.
Yeah, Merrick Garland.
Yeah.
And so don't confuse the two. Merrick Garland is the Attorney General of the United States. Bad guy, in my opinion. They
Horrible.
almost made him a
Supreme
Supreme
Court
Court
judge.
justice.
Yeah.
And this guy...
Mitch McConnell did something right for once.
Yes, this guy has this really wholesome look about him, but in my opinion, we have a real problem with this guy. First of all, this is a frivolous lawsuit. It never should have been brought, let alone brought by the Attorney General of the United States.
Yeah, you think you know a
It'll
little
get
bit
tough.
I
better.
think so,
Yeah.
yes. This
It'll
is
get tough.
terrible.
You know, on a lighter note, Doris, you come to us from the Paxton Trio. You've entertained all over, and you
Las
know,
Vegas.
Josh had mentioned something that I thought was really kind of something that is right along your line. You know, the whole idea is that you need to portray something as different than what the actual facts are. Now, coming from the entertainment background, as you have, you know that there are some days that maybe you don't feel as good, you have a cold, you don't feel like getting out on stage, but you have to overcome that and present something to the audience that may not be exactly how you feel, but it's presented in a way that they accept it. Now, do you see the similarity of what they're doing from a political side?
Well, I think that
As an
there's one
entertainment
word to
side?
describe that. They call it optics, and optics are it's the buzzword for
It's everything.
the way things, you know, like my mom had this saying, and it's not necessarily a great saying, but it fits for the show business. It's not what you can do, it's what they think you can do. It's not who you are, it's who they think you are.
That's right.
It's not, you know, that sort of that line of thinking is taken over, and they're just running in the wrong direction as fast as they can. Just running with scissors in their hand. Nope, it doesn't seem to matter that optics are replacing truth and honesty and integrity. But in show business, the show must go on. It's true that some days I can only access like 70% of my talent. Other days I can only access maybe 90%, maybe 90's good, 50% of my talent, you know. But no matter what, if you smile and you look like you're having fun, and you know you don't
They'll
let them
never
know.
know.
You don't let them know. That's right. They only know what you let them see, and they're as okay with you no matter what you're doing as you are with yourself. So, I think that we all know that it takes a special kind of crook, a special kind of low down person to be able to put people, American people, in harm's way or at risk or lead them down a road that they know doesn't represent our Constitution or our government or our values or anything like that. This is beyond show business. It's like it's maybe more like the club. Think of it like club owners running the country right now, because club owners in the music business, you know, club owners are the shadiest, shysterest, you know,
Well, it reminds me of the movie Chicago.
Yeah.
Where the part that Richard Gere plays,
Yeah.
he knows that she's guilty, but as he's giving the defense,
Yeah.
he's tap dancing. And he's
Right.
tap dancing
Right.
more and more and more. And it's just a show. Don't look at the facts.
That's right.
Look at what I'm
Right.
doing and look at how great I'm doing it. And
That's
you
right.
just believe what I'm saying. And
That's
we
right.
see that all the time. Now, Ron, you know that there was an incident recently coming up to the Olympics where one of the athletes who's supposed to be defending and presenting on behalf of the United States turned away. And I heard something on the radio today that they compared them with Jesse Owens. And even though back in 1939, with everything going on with Germany and all of that, he still stood there, saluted the flag, gave it honor, the representation, and really the foundation that it deserves. And nowadays we have these athletes that are in some way presenting it the
You're
opposite way.
right. Let's go into Jesse just for a minute because this is really important. Jesse Owens was a black athlete to start
Yes.
with, okay, and he represented the United States in Nazi Germany. The Olympics were held in Berlin.
Right, and Adolf Hitler had a point to make that this so-called Aryan
The
nation
master race.
was far superior than anybody else. He had a point to make there.
And yet Jesse Owens won the gold medal.
I think he was
And-
the first athlete ever to win 4
Yes.
gold medals.
And it just humiliated Hitler to think that a black athlete from America could beat the German master race. And so there's poetic justice, in my opinion. Then you go to this lady. I'm trying to remember her name.
I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't matter. We don't need.
Gwen Nobody.
Yeah, she should resign, in my opinion.
She should.
She just the United States in some competition, North American competition or America's competition.
Hammer throw
Yeah, throwing a hammer. Boy, that's quite a sport.
causes more deaths than firearms.
And
Let's ban
anyway,
hammers.
So
That's
any
It
rate,
was an assault hammer.
the United States won all 3 positions, first, second, and third place. Okay.
And the story was that the first place winner actually broke a world record.
Yes.
That was the story.
Yeah, but this lady, and she was a woman of color, reason I'm saying that because she's into this critical race theory garbage.
Fake
Well, if it's
history.
critical, we need to talk
It's
about it.
critical. So she was into this. Now, what they do, as many of you know, when your country wins the gold medal, your flag plays. They raise the flag of
national
the
anthem.
country. So
Yeah.
here's 3 American flags going up in our national anthem. What a great moment. Well, this girl, she's instead of taking the knee like so many, she turns her back on everybody and puts her shirt up over her head.
Maybe she was cold.
And we have one other. We have a trans athlete, which I can't even believe that this country would even consider sending a trans athlete. I mean, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. But at any rate, same thing. I think it was this. I don't know what to call them, male or female. I don't know which.
I have,
You know, it's
I have
kind
a
of an
different
attack.
word, but I'll leave it
Yeah,
off.
this is a family show. So
It's kind of
So-
not
so
fair,
it's a
for
bi-
women because women
Right.
are going to compete with men and not make a difference, not hurt them at all. Men competing with women are going to, there's
Right.
no way. It's just not
Exactly.
fair.
Well, at any rate, so this person was talking about if they win a medal, they're going to take the American flag and burn it on the.
Yeah, this
on
was
stand.
that's not
the
gonna happen.
BMX player or whatever.
Well, may I suggest that on the platform that there's actually a trap door,
Yes.
and if that happens,
or
you
a
just
catapult.
you just push
Yeah.
the
How
button,
about a catapult?
and they fall into the trap, and
Disappear.
then it's over, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyone that wants to burn the American flag, first of all, I hope you burn up with it. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
But number two, these folks that are these athletes that are making political statements, they're not doing this in the sports world as far as, the NBA or the NFL, and that's just bad and horrible enough. They're doing this on the world stage where other
Right.
countries are witnessing this. So if you don't want to stand for the American flag and you want to put your head over your hood-ratted head, then why don't you instead go and join China or go and join
Yeah.
North Korea or
Yeah.
go and join some other communist country where you'll fit right in.
A collectivist-
Okay? And here's the
collectivist
difference
communist
between
country.
America and them. Go ahead and try to desecrate their anthem and see what happens to you. See how long you get to keep your head to put a T-shirt over it.
Right.
And the important thing here, let's get this straight once and for all. In any of these competitions, it's country against country. So you are representing the United States of America. You are a representative of that country. And to do anything less than your best is pathetic, in my opinion.
And it's really not their place to make a statement. The statement is you are representing the country in a certain competition.
Right.
That's it. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Nobody wants to
Right.
hear about your feelings. They don't want to know what kind of car you drive. Entertainment, right?
Yeah.
It's who people perceive you to be. They don't care if you if anything happened. They want to know, are you able to perform to the best of your ability to
And represent the country.
represent the United States? Yes.
And there's some discussion about removing this person from the Olympics, and I think
She should be.
I agree.
I agree.
That
She
that's-
absolutely should be.
If you can't go and represent your country proudly, it reminds me of that story one time. I think it was called Cool Runnings, the Jamaican bobsled
Yes,
sling.
that was a good
Jamaican
story.
bobsled team.
Those men,
Yes.
when they couldn't do what they were supposed to do, they were so proud. They picked up their sled and carried it across the
Yeah.
finish
Yeah.
line.
John Candy.
That's the pride that they had in
Yeah.
what they were doing.
He was a great coach, John Candy.
He was.
I would have loved to be coached by him.
yeah.
He was good.
Now, I'm curious, Josh Bernstein from joshbernsteinuncensored.com.
Is that a plug? Is that a shameless plug?
A
No,
little bit.
not at all.
Just a
Doesn't have any
I'm
plugs.
It wasn't shameless, but it was
wasn't
definitely.
shameless.
These
It
are
was just
not
a plug.
plugs. This is my real hair. I maybe I heard this wrong, but you would be the guy to ask this question. Is the NFL gay?
Well, it's funny. I actually, back in like 2015, wrote an article on the prissiness, if you will, of the NFL. The National Feminist League is what I called the title of the article.
This was how long ago?
This was like 2015.
okay, so 6 years ago.
Yeah, so they attacked me viciously, and at the time, there was a 6'5", 335-pound guard that was, quote, being bullied, okay, by another player. All right.
Wait,
so
I'm
At
trying to
that
get a
weight,
visual.
you're bullied?
How big is it? How big?
I think his name was Trent Williams, and the person that was bullying him is actually right from here, Arizona, from Glendale, Richie Incognito. Richie Incognito is a guard for I don't know what team now.
Okay, so how big is this guy?
It's tall.
Wait,
Big.
6'5",
He's
330 pounds. Yeah, he was an offensive
And
guard.
he was being bullied.
Hard to be
And
intimidated
he was,
when
quote,
they're that
being
big.
bullied. Right. So I wrote an article saying, how on earth in the year 2015 back then could a 6'5", 335-pound guard be considered someone that is a victim of being a bully? And so I wrote how, these athletes, these high-paid athletes, these prima donnas, they get, a hangnail and they're out for 2 weeks. Where back in the old days, they would have broken arms, broken limbs, broken fingers,
play.
broken this, and they'd play with casts on like Jack Youngblood did in the Super Bowl. So I called it the feminization of the NFL. And of course, the left absolutely, attacked me like crazy. But yes, the NFL is definitely going the woke way. The NFL right now has the rainbow thing for Pride Month and all that. But when is Straight Pride Month? Does anybody know?
Yeah.
Has
I was
anyone
wondering
been
that myself.
informed of Straight Pride
I
Month?
don't think we have.
Well,
No?
from a biblical
No?
standpoint, it says first comes pride, then comes
The fall.
destruction. Yeah.
Exactly, and
So-
that's kind of
so-
where we're at.
yeah.
So the
Pride
NFL,
comes
Major League
before the
Baseball, the NBA, all this, Black Lives Matter, murals being painted and all this other crazy stuff going on. But yeah, now I guess it's fashionable to be, I don't know, a defensive end and coming out and saying that, you're gay or whatever, and then they celebrate him. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Gosh, we have some music playing there.
We
So
do.
I think we're going to have to take a break, and when we get back, we're gonna see some real fireworks here because our little gal here, Doris, has got some really exciting things she wants to share with us, as she was in Prescott this weekend. And stay tuned; you're going to find out what Republican women are doing. So don't go away. We'll be right back.